There is no trying. Stop trying. You either do it or you don't. You have to commit all the way. It's kind of like when you became a parent. Remember, like if you held your baby for the first time? Remember that feeling? You looked at your baby? I promise none of you, nobody here said, I'll give it a shot. Try. We'll see, I don't know, maybe 6 months, a year. If it's not going well, I guess I'll just give it back. No, you committed. You were all in. Nobody wants to do business with somebody who's not all in. It's kind of like if you ever went, to have any kind of surgery. Can you imagine the surgeon said, okay, so tomorrow is our surgery, and I'm going to give it a shot. I'm going to try my best. You would be going, goodbye, right? But we do that with this business. Oh, I'm going to try, see what happens. And I can't stand it when somebody will say, well, it hasn't been working, so it's probably, it's probably not meant to be. Because if it's meant to be, it will happen. If God wills it, then it will happen. Well, if that's how life works, then how about, let's test it. You go lay down on the highway. If you're not meant to be run over, you won't be. Right? So commit and just know. Let me give you the bad news. Bad news is this. You will do everything yourself until you find another you. You will do everything yourself until, as a regional vice president, I went region with no areas. I would do my meetings. People would come. Some people would come. And then at the end of the meeting, and I would lug all my stuff, set it all up, have everything there. And at the end of the meeting, everybody would, bye, that was a great meeting. I would do all the cleaning up, pick up, take it home. No one cared like I cared. But I knew I had to continue to care. And someday, as I got better, I would find somebody that cared as much as I did. And so know that you're going to do everything yourself. So act the part you want. If you were a national vice president and you had 100 people with you here in this room, would you even consider not buying 2 I Want It Alls? You wouldn't, because you are a national vice president and you want your team to copy you. But here's the secret for those of you who are not. You have to act like one. So you do what the MVPs are doing so you can get what the MVPs are getting. So you have to get into activity and you have to create momentum in your business. I would always create momentum myself. If nobody on my team was working, I would do my own events, going, okay, y'all don't want this, I want it. And no matter what was going on in my business, nobody ever knew that I was struggling when I was. And so I had one answer that I always gave everyone when they said, how is your business? My answer was always, unbelievable. Because it could be unbelievably bad or unbelievably good. Can you all say unbelievable?
Unbelievable.
How is business?
Unbelievable.
Unbelievable. To yourself you can think, oh, it's unbelievably bad. But you leak what you have inside out. So do you have commitment, passion, or do you have apathy? Number 3, consistently work. Wow, the clock is going so fast. Consistency is the best friend of the successful. What? I'm on number 4? Well, my paper says 3. It's 3 then. 4 then. 3?
Commit.
Commit all the way. You're right. Number 4, consistency. Anyone can do this. Consistency is the best friend of the successful. You guys, you can do this business part-time, but you can't do it sometimes. You know, Mark Cuban, the owner of the Dallas Mavericks, says, work your business as if there were somebody else working 24/7 to take it away from you. Work consistently. You cannot just work it sometimes. You know, in play the shuffle song. I am in, I am out. Now I'm in, everything is good in my life, so I'm in, I'm gonna do the business. Oh, now my kids have ball games, so I'm out, I'm not working. I'm in again, hi everybody, I'm back. I don't recognize anybody at the meeting. Because my sponsor's probably moving on without me. Stop playing the shuffle game and be all in and be consistent. One of the things that I tell my team to do is to not only have their phone calendar, but have a paper calendar. So they can see, set goals for the month, break them down into weekly goals, and then every Sunday night is your night to write down what's going to happen that week and to plan what's going to happen the next day. We use 40 faces. We talk about having 40 meaningful conversations a month. They can be Zooms, they can be in person, they can be group presentations, they can be one-on-ones. But you have to have meaningful conversations about this business. And one thing that I love about putting 40 faces on paper and keeping that sheet of paper is 3 months later, you may look back and go, you know what? In June, I talked to so-and-so, and they seemed interested. I'm going to follow up with that person. So be consistent. Personally sponsor. You have heard so many people say that. Let me see, I'm going to try to skip some things so I can get. Number 5. I got it. Ignore the evidence. You got to pay the price, you guys, and learn delayed gratification. So if you don't see the results, don't worry about it. Just keep doing what you need to do. If I told every single one of you, if you did 500 activities for your business, you would have a new title. And you do something and it's a no-show, instead of getting discouraged, you would just say $4.99 to go. If you train someone and they quit your business, $4.98 to go. If you do an event and it's zero, nothing happens, $4.97 to go. You have to focus on the activity and not the outcome. And when you have a setback, you guys, that's so important, and you've heard this before, the RVPs have heard this, but this is so important. When you have a setback, your natural inclination will be to retreat and go, this is too much, I can't take it. I can't take this obstacle, I can't get through this, I'm paralyzed. That's your critical moment. When you have a setback, it's a setup for you to step up. And step in and go, what I do right now will determine my future. And so you do the very thing that your heart says, I don't want to do it, but you do it anyway. It was my going back to, I'll get my nation back if I lose it. It's having a title, losing a title, and still congratulating people who passed you or who are next to you and started after you did, and being happy for them. Doing the right thing is so important. Guess what's so good, you guys? Every time, I always say that this business is not a marathon, but it's also not a sprint. It's a bunch of little races that you have to run over and over and over. So just when you think things are over, it's actually the beginning of the next race. And you have to step in and go, what next? And every person you sponsor gets a better upline. Some of you need to apologize to the person you sponsor last, saying, sorry, the next person, I'll be better for them. Number 6, dive in to personal growth. The best people that you want in your business won't follow you until you are your best self. You have to fall in love with the journey of becoming a better version of yourself. And that's so important. Continue to grow. Like I said earlier, reading books, listening to leadership podcasts, feeding your mind, speaking life over yourself and over your business. You know, we hear seeing is believing, but I believe that believing is seeing. You gotta speak truth and speak what you want. Number 6, gosh. You know what happened when I was doing this? I did 3, and then it was so long that I did 3 again. I'm so glad I have you. Thank you. This is a team effort. This talk is a team effort. Before I go to number 7, you have to say the things you want, like, I am a business builder magnet. They all come to me. I have an amazing team. Even if you're like looking in the mirror and you're the team. I have an amazing team. I'm an amazing leader. People are attracted to me. I'm in Maui. It's January 1st, 2020, and I'm on the beach in Maui. Number 7, envision your future. You have to see yourself as a difference maker and build this business really big so you can change people's lives. Do you know that you were not put on this earth just to take care of your family who lives in your house? Like, we're all in this together, and we're supposed to take care of each other, but there are people in this world who will never be given the Arbonne opportunity, who struggle, who have needs. And you have been given the opportunity to have extra so you can be that $200 person or more to other people. You may think that this is about getting out of debt or getting the house you want or the boat you want or the trips that you want. And you may get those things, but it's not about them. If there's anything I want you to get out of this, is for you to get to a place where you can honestly say, I don't have the right to quit. I don't have the right to step down or to step back because there are people counting on me. If you have one person following you in this business, you don't have the right to slow down because you promised them something and you have to show them how to do it, not just tell them how you used to do it. You've been elevated to this position for such a time as this. Peter Mork, our founder, used to say, when women become millionaires, the world becomes a better place. And at that time, we only had women in our company, but I'm so glad we also have men in our company. Because that truth is also true if we say it this way. When people with a heart for people become millionaires, the world becomes a better place. And the difference can start close to home. My mom, when I grew up in Brazil, my mom had an 8th grade education. And she could never go to the dentist to get braces or anything like that. And so in pictures, she never smiled. And one of the first things that I did when I had extra from Arbonne was send my mom money so she could go to the dentist and get the smile that she wanted. And my mom sent me a picture one day of herself smiling and saying, "Look at me." So it can be a difference that you make close to home, but it could also be far away. A few years ago, I got the privilege of going to Zambia to work with orphans. And there were 2 little girls that were in part of my group that they had found in the streets, and they had brought to this week that we spent with the kids, just loving on them. Their names were Precious and Cecelia, 8 and 3 at the time. And I found out, Precious, the 8-year-old, was carrying the 3-year-old on her back the whole time. And I couldn't understand their language. They spoke Nyanja, and I talked to somebody and I said, "Can you ask why she's carrying her sister on her back?" And she asked her, and the 3-year-old, 3 days earlier, while they were under a bridge, had been molested and couldn't walk. And my heart broke. And I said, they cannot go back to the streets. What does it take for them to live in this orphanage? And they said they get medical care, clothes, education, mentoring, love, shelter. And they said $250 a month each. Because of Arbonne, I said, they're in. They're in. Don't ever send them back. I get to go back. I get to see them. I get to hug them. They're thriving. They're amazing, beautiful girls because of Arbonne. And then, you guys, do it for the influence that you're going to get, for the platform that you're going to be given to help people see what they're able to do. At my VP retreat in Oklahoma last year, we wanted to raise more money for this orphanage in Zambia. And the leaders decided, we'll donate our time. A coaching call with Miranda Burcham, lunch at my house with some people on your team, dinner with, this person, Zoom call with this person, and all of that. Nothing tangible, like no Louis Vuittons or anything like that. All time with people. We had about 200 a little less than 200 VPs at the retreat. And you guys, and in less than half an hour, we raised $100,000 for Zambia.
Woo!
And one last story. Several years ago in 2009, I had a huge area managers retreat in Oklahoma. And I had an RVP that came from Canada to Oklahoma to this retreat. We had 900 people at this retreat.
Wow.
And at this retreat, we talked about Africa. This RVP went to Zambia and saw in these orphanages, they build these houses and 12 kids get to live in them. 12 orphans their lives are literally saved because in the streets they'll die. And she got to Zambia, she saw the conditions, and she said, this is not okay with me. I have got to build a house for 12 kids to be saved from the streets. She came back home, she raised money with her team and throughout Arbonne, raised $100,000 and built a house, and 12 orphans live in that house now with thriving lives because of her person. But let me tell you something. I had to build a really big Arbonne business so that Billy Heggie would think it was worth buying a plane ticket from Canada to Oklahoma to come to my retreat so she could learn how to grow her business. If I had not built a big business, she would have gone, I don't know, Cecelia Stoll, I'm not going to Oklahoma. But she came. And she thought she was coming to grow her business, but you know, in Zambia, there were 12 little kids that were probably praying for their lives to be saved, for them to be pulled off the street. And this girl, there was a divine appointment. This girl came to Oklahoma to hear about it so she could go there and come home and build houses for them. And that's going to happen for you. Don't forget how good you are. Don't forget that there is a calling on your life. You were put on this earth with a huge purpose. A huge purpose. And I don't want you to leave this earth with 1 ounce of potential left in you. When I die, probably on my tombstone, it's probably going to say, she finally ran out of breath. Because I am just getting started. As long as there's breath in me, I owe it to you to be my best. We owe it to each other to be the best version of ourselves. To lock arms and say, we're not doing this just for us. There's a bigger purpose behind all this. We are going to change lives of people we haven't even met yet. You guys, one of the things that I heard years ago that was so powerful for me, somebody told me this, and I share this with everybody now. You know, there's a book about your life, and you're the main character in that book. And for some of you, you have allowed other people to have the pen and write your stories, and you don't really like the story that has been written so far. But instead of looking back, close the chapter, get the pen, start a new chapter. You decide how the book ends. You decide, and you have to decide today. You cannot leave this arena. You cannot leave this conference the same person that walked in here. When you walk out those doors, you have to hold your head high and know you are here to make a difference. And this business is your vehicle. This is what was put in your path. Do it with everything in you because it's worth it. You guys, 12 white is not the goal. I'm not it. Some of you one day will say, oh, remember, we used to think 12 white was a big deal. You're going to pass me. You're going to do greater things. Some of you are coming up, you're 20 years old. Imagine what your life will be when you're 40. Some of you are 30. In 20 years, you guys, you're going to be retired when you will have friends working at Target. You have so much ahead of you, but finish the book the way you want it to be. Dream so big that other people think you're weird. When I was in my darkest pit, I got some truth in my heart. And I felt this truth about my life. And I wrote it down. Not when I was out of the pit, but while I was still in the pit. I wrote down, the rest of my life will be the best of my life. And I said it every day. And I lived it every day. And I can tell you that I'm better today than I was yesterday. And tomorrow, you're going to get a better version of me because I'm not going to stop working on myself. And I want to encourage you to do the same. I want you to go home, rewrite your why. Rewrite your 100-person list. Make some changes with your family and say, from now on, you make your own beds. You pack your own lunches. You do your own laundry. Make the changes you need to make this business a priority. It doesn't have to be the number one priority in your life, but it has to be so important. You have to work every month as if you were going to get my check. And one day you will. It just won't be next month. And may we all one day hear from our Maker, well done, good and faithful servant. I love you all. Thank you.